the MMA fortune teller.
The teller, the teller, the teller, the teller, the teller, the teller.
Dana White's Contender Series 2020, the year of catastrophe, week 2. It is good that we got some more fights going down. I know this year's been crazy, but the fights are definitely being pumped out to us. Of course, you guys already know, man, we got a big fight card taking place this upcoming Saturday. That prediction video is already out for you guys, and super excited for that heavyweight title bout, Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier. Here we got 5 fights, some intriguing prospects, potential prospects. We got a guy that's making his return to Dana White's Contender Series. We saw him fight not too long ago on the show, and yeah, we're gonna touch upon these guys and girls that are fighting on the card. Been dissecting a lot of their fight tape, what fight tape I was able to pull up on them, and their records, their Instagrams, you know, any type of information I could pull upon these guys to try to get some insight to see if these lines are accurate. Because again, I told you guys last week, and I'll tell you again, every time I do these DWCS breakdowns, there's a lot of variables that go into these fights, and sometimes they're a little bit more off, in my opinion, than the typical UFC fight card, where you got more well-known fighters with more footage to watch upon them, and you really know what you're looking at. So, all right, we'll look into the first fight. We got Anthony Adams taking on Impa Casenya, who's already fought in Dana White's Contender Series. That was the guy I was talking about. He's 6-0, undefeated, very physically imposing guy. You know, comes in very good shape. You know, like I said, he already fought in DWCS. He won that fight. He really pushes a strong pace. In my opinion, he's more of a grappling-based fighter. I know he's trying to work on his striking and whatnot, but in my opinion, the way that he's going to get the majority of his victories right now is by pushing that pace on his opponent, maybe tiring them out, you know, trying to rain some ground and pound or clinch them up against the cage. Let's see here. He has a 73-inch reach, compared to his opponent, Anthony Adams, who's going to have a 3.5-inch reach on him. And Anthony Adams is the bigger guy here. Which, you know, it's pretty intriguing. This is an intriguing matchup. Anthony Adams, you know, from what I was able to pull up on him, seems to be the type of fighter that's very patient in there. This isn't a guy that's coming out when the bell rings, you know, headhunting, trying to take you out within the first couple minutes. Seems to be very patient in there. I was kind of wondering when I was watching his fight footage, did it have anything to do with his cardio or anything? You know, why was he so timid to push that pace? Really selective on the shots that he puts out there. I kind of worry about his output. I think that Impa is probably going to be the one that's going to be trying to walk him down. He's going to be pushing the pace a little bit more here. I like Impa here. I'm going to go with Impa to win the fight. I thought that he looked, you know, pretty decent in his fight the last time around, and he didn't get a contract. You know, he wasn't really that impressive as far as, you know, making a big impact for to Dana White to get that contract. And maybe he learned a lesson from the last time around, and this time he's going to go out there really looking to make a bigger statement. Take a look at him here, getting his arm raised, and yeah, that was against what was that guy's name? Kalen Hill. That guy Kalen Hill, who some people think this guy has decent, or he has some decent potential. And I'm trying to remember who was the favorite going into that fight at the time. Actually, I'm going to pull it up real quick right now. Yeah, Kalen Hill, that's right. See, my memory's pretty good, man. I remember this from back when this took place back in last year, over a year ago now, right? We're creeping up on a year. Yeah, Kalen Hill, a lot of people were high on that guy. He was undefeated at the time, and Impa came in there. He spoiled the party as a 2-1 underdog. And now Impa's coming in. Line opened up around -145. And now you can get Impa right around as a 2-1 favorite. So money is coming in on him. And I like him to win the fight. I think he's a well-rounded fighter. Needs to step up his striking, his skills. You know, he needs to be a little bit more impressive there. But just really not that impressed with his opponent and Adams. Really not that impressed from what I was able to pull up on him. You know, but you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if he goes out there and you know, you finally start to see what this guy is capable of. You know, I wouldn't be shocked. Again, there's not a lot of fight footage on him. He's 8-1. He is coming off, you know, a pretty solid victory over there in LFA against Josh Caven. Take a look at what this guy brings to the table. 15-8. you know, over there on the Colorado scene. That's where Adams is. And yeah, I mean, there's one thing that's definitely going for him, training with Elevation Fight Team over in Colorado. Those guys have really been putting it together. They're always known for their cardio. The striking's coming around. Those guys are doing their thing. I still got to go with Impa. I'm going to take Impa in this fight. Not sure if he gets the contract, though, man. I don't know if I see him doing anything that's that impressive. But although, if you win 2 fights in Dana White's Contender Series, you're pushing to get that contract, but you still gotta do something. You gotta do something that's impressive. Excuse me over here. Kalen Hill again. All right. So moving over to the next fight, we got TJ Laramie taking on Daniel Swain in the featherweight division. This guy Laramie kind of reminds me a little bit of a Drew Dober type of look when I was looking at him, watching his film, his physique at least. Striking is definitely not on the level of Drew Dober. Don't get it twisted. That's not what I mean by that. But he's trying to work on his striking. But Drew Dober is a whole different type of animal. His opponent Daniel Swain. This guy is an aggressive fighter. Actually was decently impressed from his heart and the energy that he brings when he steps in there. As far as his skill set goes, definitely needs to polish some things up. If he's ever going to be fighting in the UFC. But he's tough. Saw him get some ground and pound finishes. And he's a tough dude. I think that he's going to be trying to walk forward, and he's going to be bringing the fight to TJ Laramie. I do think that TJ is going to be a little bit more skilled. I do like TJ's grappling abilities too. He's tough. He's able to mix in some takedowns from the clinch. Could work his ground and pound as well. Only 22 years old. So, the sky is the limit with this kid right now. He's starting young. He already has 14 professional fights at the young age of 22. And take a look at what TJ's been doing recently. Over on the Canada fight scene, on a 3-fight win streak. I was just watching this fight. Who was it? It actually has a victory against Charles Jourdain. Very skilled striker there too. That's an impressive victory. I think it was the Andrew Cruz fight. Yeah, I just saw that Andrew Cruz fight. And he was bringing. That was a 5-round fight too, by the way. So he has fought 5 rounds. I believe that was that fight. But either way, he's fought 5 rounds, title fights in some of those smaller promotions. That's always a good thing. A guy that's been locked in there, and on a formidable stage, throwing down for 25 minutes. That does go a long way, especially for a young fighter. So let's see what else I got written down over here. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm gonna go at Laramie. I mean, you take a look at the line though, minus 360. I mean, I don't feel comfortable touching that at all. Like I said, that guy Daniel Swain is a tough customer. You pull up his fight footage. This guy brings the fight, and you got to be careful with guys like that. But I would expect Laramie to get it done. It's pretty cool. You see, he has the young boys starting early, man. That's awesome. His boy Ella. I think I'm going to be pulling for this guy. I'm going to be pulling for Swain to win the fight, but most likely we'll probably see Laramie win a decision, in my opinion. As far as how they match up physically too, we don't have a reach here for Laramie, but 70-inch reach for Swain. He has a 1-inch height advantage, and I'm going to go at Laramie to win the fight. All right, this next fight's actually pretty interesting for a female fight taking place on Dana White's Contender Series. I mean, of course, we had Macy Barber come from the show, but there's also been a lot of other females that came from the show. Some of these female fights, some of the female fights in the UFC are kind of lower level at times. So, imagine some of these girls coming from the regional scene. Some of them, they're eh. And this fight though, it's weird. I'm gonna tell you what I think about it here in a second. We got Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Cory McKenna. We got a Greek fighter, a Greek American girl over here. She's 5-1, and then we got Cory fighting out of Wales. She likes to go by the nickname The Hobbit. Pretty funny. This girl Vanessa, it's pretty interesting. You guys can pull her up on YouTube. She, I guess she uses a different word to kind of describe what she does. I call them strippers, but I don't know if she really works in a strip club. But what do they call that? Pole dancing. That whole art of dancing on the pole and whatnot. But if you look up the footage of her training and doing all that stuff, performing that art, she's actually pretty impressive, man, on the ropes, what she could do. You know, that whole aerobatic type stuff, whatever you want to call that, you know. I'm a big believer in that as far as, you know, for your physical being. You know, a lot of those Olympic type workouts, man, it gives you a real type of, you know, GSP used to do a lot of that type of stuff. It helps with your grappling and your overall strength from awkward positions. And so she's going to be a strong girl. You know, she's going to be a very physically strong girl, in my opinion. From what I saw from her on tape, you know, I saw her shooting constant takedowns, really bringing the pressure, pushing the pressure upon her opponent. Her opponent stuffed a couple of takedowns, but she was relentless, ended up getting it down to the mat. She was a little sloppy, though, when she got down to the mat. I saw her get reversed. So that wasn't really a good look for her, the way that she got reversed so easily. But then from her guard, she was actually quite impressive. I saw her snap on a very nice armbar. You know, she has a very high guard. She's throwing the legs up. She's very flexible. You know, back to what I was talking about the whole stripper type thing. She's very flexible. You know, from the guard, she could take her legs, completely pull it over her opponent's head. So, you know, she's dangerous off her back, which is the reason why I think this fight's actually going to be a pretty cool matchup here, is because Cory McKenna actually has some pretty good jiu-jitsu as well. I saw her working off her back and you know, on the mat, and she's actually has some impressive BJJ herself. So I'm really interested to see how this fight takes place. I do think that Vanessa's just stronger, though, and that's what she really has going for her. As long as she avoids, you know, getting caught with the sub or whatnot, I think that this is Vanessa's fight to win. Here's Vanessa. This wasn't even the fight I was talking about. This is a different fight. You see her again, man, attacking with the legs, you know, throwing up. Looks like a triangle attempt. It's kind of weird from the side. Take a look at Vanessa over here, see what we got. She's a dancer too. I think the UFC definitely wants her to win this fight. I'll tell you guys that right now. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The UFC loves these types of you know, women MMA fighters that can really, you know, make a big splash. You know, not as much just about her abilities, but also she has the look going for her, the personality. You know, she might be able to make a name for herself. And if she comes off, if she wins tonight and has an impressive performance, I think she can easily get a contract, in my opinion. I really do. I expect her to be the favorite to get the contract tonight. I think the UFC is eyeing this chick right here. And but Cory McKenna definitely has the abilities to spoil the party. As far as how I see this fight matching up on the feet, I think that both these girls are very low level on the feet. That's what I've seen from them on tape. Very low level on the feet. So even if I think that Vanessa looks a little tougher and has a little bit more power, it's really hard to really edge either one of them on the feet, because you never know what's going to happen in those types of matchups, man, where it's very low level. It's going to be pitter patter type of thing. You know, who knows what's going to happen. But I got Vanessa winning the fight. I'm going to take Vanessa, man, my fellow Greek American, who would be pretty cool to see her make a name for herself. All right. Got a big favorite coming up again here, man. Adrian Yanez taking on Brady Huang. Taking place in the bantamweight division, one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC right now. You know, does it have room for guys like these two guys here, man? You know, we're gonna see, man. We'll see what they bring to the table tonight. Wasn't really overly impressed with what I've seen from either of these guys on the regional scenes. Brady Huang had a very solid record, or he still does. You know, he only had one loss, and it was against Martin Day. Of course, you guys are familiar with the Spartan Martin Day, the Hawaiian fighter who just got knocked out. You know, I thought that fight was against Davey Grant going into the third round. Whoever took that third round was going to win the fight, and I thought Martin Day was taking the beginning of the round. Then he ended up getting knocked out. But Martin Day can strike. You know, he's a decent striker. So Martin Day did, you know, finish him in the second round. Caught him with some nasty strikes. And that fight, man, I was watching Huang's technique, and he just seems a little slow with his striking. Not overly impressed with the striking. You know, it's basic. You know, those little hybrid straight hooks. You know, he steps little step-in hooks. You know, he carries a little bit of power. And you see him, you know, he's well-rounded, pulling off subs, knockouts. I mean, he's a polished fighter, I would say. You know, as far as coming into Dana White's Contender Series, I think he's a decently polished fighter. 27 years old. And he's a big dog here. He's a big dog, plus 315. I was pretty surprised on the line. I'm not sure exactly what everyone's seen in Adrian Yanez for him to be almost a minus 400 favorite. In regards to Yanez, I mean, he looked decent. Like I said, looked decent. See him over here. He's pretty happy. The UFC's picking him up. And maybe I was watching the wrong fights of his on YouTube. Maybe there was some better fight footage of him. But the fight footage that I pulled up of him, I wasn't really overly impressed with the dude. But he is a well-rounded, solid fighter. I think that he should win this fight. I'm definitely going to pick him to win it straight up. But I'm not crazy about the line. And I probably don't... We'll see, man. These events are tricky, but I probably wouldn't recommend flirting with it as far as parlays and whatnot go. But he should pull it off. I mean, if you're feeling like you want to take a risk, maybe you take him. Now, the main event coming up next, I'm excited for this one. This is a cool fight here. If you guys haven't looked into it yet, this should be fireworks in the main event. Joseph Fire taking on Dustin Stoltzfus, fighting out of, he's in America, but I guess technically he's a German fighter, this guy Dustin. And we'll start off with Dustin, right? This guy Dustin coming in as right around a minus 250 favorite, another heavy favorite, which I was a little bit surprised to see. I do understand it to an extent, but a little bit high in my opinion. This guy Dustin, very fit. Very strong in the clinch, very strong with his grappling. He's the type of guy that, you know, he can march across the cage. He can get a hold of you in the clinch and he could rip you down to the mat. He does have good jiu-jitsu. He could put you in very compromising positions, man. He could flatten you out. He could finish you with his hands. He could submit you. You know, if your cardio is not on point and you're not willing to be in a fight where the pace is being pushed, he can gas you out and he can beat you down and finish you, man. That's what I saw from him on tape. Take a look at him here. Working on his striking. So, you know, you see it even here when he's hitting the pads, and I saw it when I was breaking down his tape, man. On the feet, he does have power, but he's very stiff. He's very upright, and he's not, in my opinion, from what I saw, he's not a very polished striker. He's not very fluid with his striking. Very stiff. And so is his opponent, though. That's why I think this fight's actually gonna be a good matchup here. And I'm gonna go more into detail here in a second when I break down Joe, what he brings to the table. Because here's the thing, Joe is pretty strong, or he is a very strong guy. He could stuff the takedown. Some of the fight footage I saw, he was able to stuff takedowns very easily, reverse his opponents, put him up against the cage. I could see him stuffing the takedown. He's also pretty stiff on the feet too. Pretty stiff, but has that power. He can knock you out. I saw some film of him sleeping dudes with his hands, but still very stiff. And I have a feeling that these guys are going to brawl it out in the feet. I think that they'll probably hang on each other a little bit. They'll try to see who's the stronger guy, and they'll try to feel each other out if one of them has an edge in the grappling and the clinch, if they can kind of, you know, score some points in the clinch or get a takedown. But I think at the end of the day, these guys are going to have to throw some hands, and I think it's going to be entertaining. I can see one of these guys getting knocked out. These guys are big boys. They have power, like I said. They both don't have the best striking defense in regards to their head movement and whatnot. So one of them can easily get slept. You know, there's some variables that kind of point to this fight being an entertaining fight. He likes to go by body bags. I like this guy, Joe. I'm pulling for Joe to win the fight, but I think that Dustin, in my opinion, is a little bit more polished. And if somebody's going to have the edge and the cardio, the grappling, and the clinch, I do feel that Dustin will more likely be that guy, will most likely be that guy. I'm pulling for Joseph. Joseph's only 23 years old. You know, you got to keep an eye on that. You know, a guy like Joseph at 23 years old, he's only had 8 professional bouts. You know, he might really start to impress. He might start to evolve his game. He's coming off a nice knockout victory against Chase Gamble. I told you, he has power in his hands, man. Is susceptible to being submitted, as you saw in his fight before that. Got a guillotine choked, and his opponent Dustin has the submission skills, so he has to be careful. See a lot of knockouts on the resume. Don't be surprised if Joe pulls off a knockout in the small cage. These guys are going to be, you know, 2 big guys trapped in a small cage. Someone may get knocked out. Take a look at Dustin here. 28 years old. Look, pulling off twisters in the octagon, or excuse me, in the cage. The guy does have good submission skills, guillotine choke, rear naked choke, and like I said on film, I like him with his grappling abilities and his cardio and his overall, you know, his physique and his conditioning. So I do got to edge Dustin to win the fight. But again, I'm pulling for Joe, and maybe some possible value if you feel like poking at it, plus 210, plus 215. A guy that can knock out his opponent. Maybe he could stuff those takedowns. Has shown to have decent takedown defense, and then he could maybe able to put Dustin in some compromising positions, on the feet. So a lot of X factors here. And that's going to wrap up Dana White's Contender Series. Sorry that I'm getting it out to you guys a little later than I wanted to. Wanted to get this video out to you yesterday. Teller's been a little busy over here, and working on getting a fighter to come on the show this Thursday. I'll keep you guys updated with that. MMA live discussion Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time zone. And the fight companion is definitely going down for the main card. We got one of the biggest cards of the year. The co-main event and main event fights are just, forget it. We got stars galore. And I think that's about it. I'm going to be finalizing my picks here today. Been just really breaking down fight footage for Saturday's card. And I'm going to have a good amount of plays for everyone that's watching. I'll get those out to you. Again, if you're interested, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I know I got a bunch. I'm going to be getting to those here today. And I will give you guys my pricing for my picks. You can also reach me on my email, MMAfortuneteller@gmail.com. You can catch me on Twitter, the MMA Teller. Don't really go on there too much, but if that's all you have. And yeah, I'll have my plays probably finalized today. I feel good about this card, so should be a very profitable event. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the show, man. Try to make it quick for you guys, and appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys, man. Be safe out there. Make sure you guys are doing something productive, eating healthy, getting some workouts in, trying to work on yourself to better yourself in any type of way. The world's it's a wild place right now, so hopefully things will be getting better soon, man. All right. And on that note, signing out, the Teller.